What's going on, y'all? It might get dark on me. The sun is going down. It's probably maybe 30 minutes from sunset, so I'll try to make this quick. So the subject I want to talk about today, is the anti-white supremacist philosophy that Black folks need. The same way that we have adopted a Western Christianity slash slave mentality, we seem to think, and Black leaders have really misled. I really hate to say this. This is going to sound really bad. It's going to sound arrogant. I'm not going to apologize for this. But the leaders that we had, in my opinion, the three best leaders the Black community ever had was, in my opinion, Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, for sure, Marcus Garvey, and El Haj Malik El Shabazz, known as Malcolm X. I think it's disrespectful to call him Malcolm X because the man changed his name. It'd be like calling Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay. So, those are our greatest leaders. Some people might be saying, well, what about Dr. King? Dr. King was a martyr. Dr. King was a great man. I do not believe that Dr. King was a leader. Why do I say that? Because Dr. King was able to get the conscience of white people in America to agree to giving some rights to Black people. And to me, that's not a leader. I'm sorry. He is he was a leader, but he wasn't a leader of Black people. He was a leader of his movement. And I believe that that movement was flawed. You do not ask for freedom. You do not demand freedom. You take it. Anytime another man gives you freedom, then he has the power to take it away. And what we've seen in America today is on the heels of Dr. King's philosophy, which I think Dr. King was starting to change before he was killed, which is probably one of the reasons why they murdered him. Because he realized that America is inherently evil, that white Americans are inherently evil. Now, this might be getting a little bit deep, but they are the descendants of the trash of Europe. And I know it's going to piss white people off. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not apologizing. Let's go back to the founding of America. Who populated the United States? I'll tell you. It was the poorest, least educated, the most humblest, the starving, the ignorant, the slavish of Europe. That's who came. We did not attract their brightest. We did not attract the upper classes, the higher men of European society. We attracted the starving peasants. And what you see today, I don't give a fuck how much money they got. I don't care how smart they might be. I don't care how much class some of them might have. Well, I hate, this is really a bad word to use, but they are Eurotrash. They are the lowest of European society's descendants. And when you have that type of um, DNA in your blood, and this is why you got to be careful, and I tell young people this all the time, you have to choose who you're having your children with. Because if you have your child with a peasant, and that child is not given an extraordinary education, an extraordinary upbringing, an environment where they can be cultivated and developed out of what they were born with, they're going to end up repeating what the parents did. And if you look all around you, often the kids reflect the parents. And And if the parent, parent, unless the parents parent their children um, very carefully, conscientiously, those kids will usually end up following the footsteps of the parent. If the parent was irresponsible with money, the kids are going to be irresponsible with money. Why? Because who do we get our education about how to handle money from? We get it from our parents. Unless that child uh, grows up and goes against the parents' upbringing, he is most likely, or she is most likely, going to repeat what the parents did. So it is no surprising. Oh, sorry. Let me back up. So the peasants of Europe come to the United States, and in order to feel value, in order to feel um, to have self-esteem, and you'll see this all around you, they have to create another class that they can look down on, which is why in America, the former immigrants move up, elevate to become Americans, Native American, soil-born Americans, and they turn around and they look down on the new immigrants. Every generation of American has done it. They even did it to their own white people. They created this white and black so that they could cast all black people into a permanent underclass, but they turn around, they did that same shit to their own. That is the thinking and the behavior of insecure people. That is the thinking and behavior of low class, low educated, um, ignorant, not highly advanced people. That's what they do. So anyway, the way that they treated the Native Americans, the way they treated black people was expected, because they were the trash of Europe, and they raised children to think you're no longer trash. The only way they know how to elevate themselves is to turn around and treat another group of people the way their parents were treated by somebody else, right? In their mind. This is why when poor people get a little bit of money, they think they have to act like a rich person in order to be higher than what they came from. And so what they end up doing usually is doing a poor person's version of what they think a rich person is. And that's what happened in America. In America, you had the offsprings of European trash try to be the oppressors of their parents. And they did a peasant's version of um, what they thought the mentality of their parents' oppressors were. Okay, that's the source of American racism. I don't care what see. I look at it from a psychological point of view. Okay, I know what they said. Oh, they did it to separate the classes, and that's bullshit. These are insecure, low grade of people, and in order to feel better, they had to turn around and belittle another group to make themselves feel better. Okay, so keep that in mind, because we're going to need to understand that. Yes, black folks are brought here into slavery. Yes, we were placed in a disadvantaged position, and they fought us on every chance, in every area they could, from elevating ourselves. Our leaders went wrong by begging white people for rights, by begging them to stop. When a man is beating you, you can't plead for him to stop beating you. The fact that he's beating you in the first place shows you how evil and how corrupt he is. The way you stop a man from beating you is that you take a pen and you jab it in his eye. And while it's in there, you shove that motherfucker all the way into his brain. You get up under his chin and you bite his throat and you crush his windpipe. You grab his balls and you twist it and you try to rip those motherfuckers off his body. You grab his finger and you break his finger, and then you grab another one and you break that. You take your finger, put it in the other eye, and pull that eyeball out. That's how you stop a motherfucker from beating you. You don't beg him. You don't ask the authorities for help. You put that motherfucker in the ground. You understand? Some of you guys are not ready for this conversation. In Friedrich Nietzsche's Zarathustra, the hero goes on top of the mountain. I have to do another video on this to break it down. At 30 years old, he goes to the top of the mountain to contemplate the meaning of life, to understand life, the world, and people. After 10 years, he feels, quote, well, this is not a quote, I'd say this is a paraphrase. Like a bee who has gathered too much honey, I must go down and look for outstretched hands to take it. He's gathered this knowledge, and at 40 years old, which is pretty much the point that men become that's when they settle, right? That's when they mature, at 40. He decides to come down from the mountain, and he wants to teach the people in the marketplace. Funny how crazy people always go to the marketplace. That in many stories, many parables, the marketplace represents the place where ignorant people go, and I agree with him. Um, Nothing is crazier than seeing somebody who's already struggling with money rush to the marketplace, the mall, the shopping center, as soon as they get money and spend between 25 to 50% of their income every fucking pay period. And then they spend the next 14 days complaining about how little money they have, how much money they need to make more money, and they can't pay their bills and their credit is going bad and stuff like that. To me, that's insanity. And yes, the marketplace is a place where the ignorant goes. Intelligent higher men don't do shit like that. You understand? And this is what I've been trying to teach on this video. I mean, on this channel, which is to elevate yourself, take yourself to the next level, and don't just do what the next guy does. So anyway, back to Zarathustra. The hero, or the antagonist, goes into the marketplace and he starts to preach to the people. And he draws a distinction to the people between the higher men, the supermen, and the last men. The difference between the last man and the superman is that the superman, or the Ubermensch, is the advanced human being. Charles Darwin wrote in his book, the book that, oh my God, I can't even think of it. I'm drawing a blank right now. And I can't remember if it was the beginning of a chapter, maybe the beginning of the book itself. It's the book that he was most known for, but he writes in there, mankind has its higher humans. And this is something that Eurotrash I'm talking about, those racists, the Nazis and all these people, this is what they're talking about. Now, they're stupid. That there are higher humans, but there's higher humans of every race. So yes, you have intelligent, advanced white people, but you also have your trash of white people. And that's one of the things that I love about white trash and Eurotrash. It is a reminder to the white supremacists that you are not the superior people. And I love to debate with white supremacists, with racists, because they want to sit there and they talk about how many black people are in prison, how many black people are ignorant. And I will challenge them. How much education do you got, motherfucker? Right? How intelligent are you? How much money do you have in the bank? 9 times out of 10, I beat that motherfucker in every category, including physically. So my point is that there are higher human beings, but there's no such thing as a higher race. And so this new video channel that I want to start, I want to explore the higher man more deeply. But I'm not exploring it for white people. I'm exploring it for the black man. That the counter to racism, my father had said, my father or my grandfather? I'm pretty sure it was my dad. My dad had said, the opposite of racism is not the absence of racism, but prestige. If you have a man that you used to look down on, look what they used to do with the Jews. They 100 years ago, they looked down on the Jews. The Jews were the, the fleas of Europe or whatever they say. Today, nobody fucks with Jews, and white people will, except for the ignorant ass white motherfuckers, but most white people will defend a Jew tooth and nail. America itself takes care of Israel before they take care of their own Americans, their own type. And I'll have to do a couple of videos on the Jews on how there's a saying that the ignorant will always be ruled. I'm sorry, the weak will always be ruled by the strong, but the strong will always be ruled by the intelligent, by the smart. And the Jew is much smarter than the white European. They have become the masters of their own oppressors. They really have become the slave masters of their oppressors. There are many white people who still hate Jews, but they defend Jews because that's what's expected of them as white people. Americans, when they hear that Israeli citizens have free health care and free college and all that kind of stuff, and we don't have that shit right here in this country, yet we give them the money to do all that shit. White people are so wrapped up in what it is to be an American that they can't verbally, they can't say it. They can't say what's in their heart. You understand? So, of course, like I said, the really ignorant do. Okay, and I'm telling you, if you guys ever want to study how to counter racism, study the Jewish community. I don't know anything about their leaders, if they have leaders or anything, but the Jewish community does everything in unison, and that's why they're so powerful. The Honorable Minister, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that unity of a people is more powerful than a hydrogen bomb, and that is so true. You take any city in America, if I can get 25, 45, 50 black families to work in unison to create an economic community of just those 25 families or 50 families. They share everything in making purchases and supporting each other's businesses. You've got a very powerful unit right there. They can take over a fucking city. Matter of fact, my town is my town. Look where I live. My family, let me tell you something about my family. My grandfather organized a group of men here in this town 60, 70 years ago to fight the Japanese. This was just a small farming town at the time. My grandfather is the son of a guerrilla further down south, and he learned how to fight from his father and his uncles. And Papa taught all of my uncles, and he taught most of the neighboring men martial arts, just like he taught me. Taught me martial arts. And my whole life, if you talk to any of my siblings, brothers, and my sister, our whole life we've been doing martial arts all our life. We've always had blades around the house. I've always known how to kill people. We've always had weapons hidden throughout the house. We've been shooting guns since we were, I remember, well, I know I was 12 or 13. My younger brother was maybe 10. First time he shot a gun. That's just the way that Papa was. So we have a big family. Papa had 2 wives. He's got a set of kids here, and we got another set of kids about 4 hours away. 9 siblings in this town. And my mother just counted the other day. It might have been 12 in Pampanga, which is where I'm going to be going to Pampanga next month to stay for a couple months. And we did everything as a strong family unit. This town today, most of the landowners, well, our family together, if you add up all of our land, we have a significant amount of land in this town. And just today I was visiting my cousin, where it's Rizal, it's Tina, it's Mary Jane, Boudet, Romeo, Yeah, it's 4 of them. So my cousin and his 3 siblings bought an acre of land. There's probably 25 houses on that land. There's got to be at least 5 or 6 businesses on the land, and nobody goes hungry. They're raising chickens, all kinds of livestock. Um, they're building houses. That's what my cousin does. He builds houses. He's actually working on my house right now. He's gonna build me a gym right between the blue house and my kubo, which is a little small house. And it's my cousins, my nephews, I'm sorry, who are doing the work with my cousin. So anyway, this is gonna run long. Oh my God, 20 minutes. Okay, so let me get along with it. A group of families working together in unison can take over a city, just as my family pretty much has taken over this town. For the black man to uh, survive and prosper in a hostile, evil place like America, he is going to have to be the black version of white supremacy. And that's one of the things that I feel I'll have to do a video on why I chose those 3 men to be the leaders of the black community. That at a time where the black man felt inferior to white people, and you could say that you don't feel inferior, but everything about black culture today spells inferior. From the way that our women must straighten their hair, to a man moving his family to a white community to feel like he's improving his children's way of life. The way that a black man feels like he's more successful making $50,000-$60,000 a year working for white folks rather than making $100,000 a year running a corner store in the black community. There are many things that we do we don't realize because we feel inferior to white people. Elijah Muhammad criticized for many things, but one of the things that he taught the black man is that you are better than the white man. And I could put up a very good argument to support that. That when the barriers come down and the playing field is level, a black man will beat a white man every time. And you give me the category, a black man beats a white man every time. Problem is, there's too many of you Negroes who don't believe that. And this is why I say every race has its higher men. There are black men who are striving to outdo white men. And that is what we must do. My dad told me, I came to the United States when I was 11. One of the first lessons I got from my dad is you will have to be 3 times better, not twice, 3 times better than a white boy to be seen as equal. And he instilled, I've even heard Grandpa say that. So maybe that originated with my grandfather and my dad told me. Can't remember. But that's a hell of a thing to tell a kid, because all my life I saw white kids as my competition. I resented being slighted. I resented racism when it occurred. My first blatant racist experience was at 14 when I got my first job at McDonald's. But I experienced it earlier with kids, just not understanding that this was racism. But I still resented it. And by the time I was 13 or 14 years old, this sounds really bad because I have white friends, but I hated white people. I'm sorry. That's good. No, I shouldn't apologize. I'm not apologizing for that shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, the way that I was treated, I did not like being around white kids. And a white kid would have to be really, really special. Like I said, I did have white friends, but a white kid would have to be really, really special in order for me to like him. And matter of fact, he would have to be a higher human being. He would have to be a higher white person to be special. And I'm not saying he had to be wealthy or educated, because being a superior man has nothing to do with your wealth and education. It does have to do with intelligence. But intelligence and schooling are 2 separate things. So anyway, I want to wrap this up. So my point of all this is that I want to start a video series, and I'm going to do it on another channel. I might put a version or a copy on this channel as well. But I want to explore Black supremacy. And some of y'all ain't ready for this shit. Some of you Negroes been going to these churches and shit, listen to all this bullshit, praying to a white Jesus and all that kind of stuff. If you think this is bullshit, pass along. Don't listen to it. You want to argue with me? Go for it. I enjoy a good debate. But those of you who are serious and want to dig into this subject a little bit deeper, I invite you to the channel, and I will make an announcement for this channel when I create it. I'll probably do it 2 or 3 videos before I actually create the channel. Just as the hero in Zarathustra got discouraged from the people in the marketplace who are more concerned with consumption, more concerned with making their purchases, having a good time, drinking alcohol, and buying shit to feel good and look good and all this kind of stuff. They were only interested in entertainment, things that felt good. He decided to retreat back to the mountain and only teach the select few who wanted this information. And that's where I am. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Black Planet. And I can't stand what I'm seeing from people. They are more interested in bullshit and feel good stuff than they are in education. And, you know, social media has been around, well, the media itself has been around for 100 years. White folks have been using it to slander black people and to make us look bad and make us feel inferior since the beginning. The very first film that was a blockbuster in America was Birth of a Nation. And it was powerful. Birth of a Nation brought back the Ku Klux Klan. We had a decade of nigga films, of not black exploitation, but nigga exploitation. White folks didn't even have to make the films. We made the shit ourselves. We had women who preferred to have babies with niggas than black men. And that birthed 2 generations of ignorance. If you think that social media and mass media is just entertainment, you've just proven why the white man is still kicking our asses right now. It is not just entertainment. This is programming, propaganda, brainwashing at it's the epitome of those things. And the simple fact that we have black folks out here who don't understand that, who think it's just a movie, it's just music, it's just entertainment, you stupid motherfuckers. So those of you who want to remain in the marketplace, who want to bust your ass Christmas time, spending money in stores that won't hire Negroes, giving your money to people who won't do anything for your community, spending money that you sorely need and your children sorely need. Every Black Friday, every Christmas, every Valentine's Day. If you're content with that, go for it. This video is not for y'all. This video is for the people who want to elevate that shit. This video is for the people who are tired of just being outraged at shit that goes on in the news, outraged at the behavior of white people and their government. And they want to do more than just fucking protest and rant on social media. If you are looking to counter racism, white supremacy, and black inferiority, then subscribe to this channel. And when I announce the new channel, subscribe to that channel, follow me, and let's study this subject a little bit deeper. Okay? All right, you guys. Well, have a good day. It is getting dark. Remember I told you it's going to be 30 minutes before the sun goes down. Yeah, plus I got to go feed these animals. They're making noise. Okay, you guys have a good day. Peace.